This video is geared towards people who are looking to arm themselves on $200 or less, currently don't have any firearms, and are looking to get something quickly and on a budget.
3, 2, 1.
First, start off with the Mossberg 500. Used, these will run you around $200. I would advise staying away from the pistol grip if you are a new firearms owner, because you could definitely hurt yourself with an improper grip. You can also pick up its cheaper, less expensive version, the Maverick 88, for around $189 brand new, or even in the 120s or 130 range used, or less in some cases, depending on the condition. The Mossberg 500 series comes in 20 gauge, 16 gauge, and 12 gauge. And they'll all be around the same price point. You just have to determine how much firepower you want to have at your fingertips. Considerations like, will your wife be using it? You may want to go 20 gauge or 16 gauge if she's unfamiliar with firearms. And if you're buying it for yourself, I find 20 gauge to be absolutely an excellent load, and with a greatly reduced recoil from a 12, even though I'm particularly fond of 12 gauge and have a couple of 12 gauge shotguns. The next firearm I recommend is the Mosin Nagant rifle. These are old World War II relics. This is a M44 carbine version, which would be a lot more wieldy in a home defense scenario. Though, because of the ballistics, if you live in something like an apartment complex, this is probably not the best choice for you, because it will overpenetrate walls and will go through concrete with little effort. So that's something to keep in mind if going with this route. You can pick these up in the $150 to $200 range. They have gone up in price recently. You used to be able to buy these for around $80. The M44s are always a little more expensive than the 9130s. Well, there's also the M38 carbine available, which does not feature the bayonet that this particular rifle features. Now the ultimate budget gun out of the group. This is the H&R Topper in 20 gauge. This design goes back to the 1870s and is still in production. This particular shotgun is probably about 15 years old, and I picked it up at a pawn shop for $65. I bought it because I had mistakenly bought a bulk pack of 20 gauge, thinking it was 12, walked out of the store and realized, whoops, wrong gauge. So I figured, well, I could go down to my local pawn shop and pick one of these up pretty reasonable, and I did. And these will vary in condition. There's a lot of companies that manufactured these single-barrel top-break shotguns through the years. I recommend doing a little bit of research to figure out how old it is, because some of these older shotguns may not be able to handle modern loads. You also want to research the brand and see if they're still around in the event you may need a replacement part, but in a lot of cases it would probably be cheaper to buy a new shotgun than parts for it, especially if going this particular route. And this one was in excellent condition, just a tiny bit of rust underneath the barrel, and that's about it. So these are my recommendations on how to arm yourself for under $200. And this, by far, is the most affordable option. And you can find these at your local pawn shops that also have FFL licenses or federal firearms licenses to sell guns. And I guarantee they will have quite the selection of these single-barrel shotguns in a variety of gauges and makes and ages from you to choose from. Alright, so here it is, a review of the AR-500 pack and pack armor